Welcome to the Boundless Pod Trap, your entertainment podcast touching on topics from the crazy, absurd, the interesting, the educational, the sacred, and profane. The Boundless Pod Trap knows no bounds, so if you are easily offended, you might want to remove yourself. Streaming from the Midwest, right in the middle of the U.S., from Omaha, Nebraska, this is BPT, the Boundless Pod Trap. I'm your host, Justin, and with me is the other one,
Jeremy.
Boom. How you guys doing? You guys can't really answer, so it's kind of pointless.
No, they can if they really wanted to.
This is true.
I can hear them, all two of them.
So, anyways, this is pretty much a new podcast. This is our episode 0. It might not even make it into an episode.
It's the pilot episode.
So we're just winging it right now. It's not scripted at all. So, yeah.
There's really nothing on these iPad tablets in front of us except for porn.
Porn all day.
Hey.
That's mostly guys right there, but
yeah. So
different strokes for different folks.
This is definitely going to be a test run of some sorts here. So there might be technical issues and whatnot. There's a lot behind the camera you're not seeing set up right now. We've got Logan back behind there running the controls, and we've got Michael who's running one of the cameras right here. And this is actually Michael's place right here. This is the home of ML Image, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know what ML Image is, you should look it up. It's a photography company.
Boom. So anyways, yeah, nothing here is really set in stone, like he was saying. So the format of this is going to probably change entirely from what it is now, possibly. We got some good people on it, so we'll see how it goes. For the future, there might also be like specific segments. If there's things that you guys want to see, we're gonna rock it. We're gonna do it.
If you have topics you want us to talk about, let us know. We'll talk about them.
If we could wing it, I think eventually we're gonna do like some giveaways and stuff like that. So yeah, who are we? You want to start?
Sure. My name is Jeremy Lubash, not Labosh. Lubash, just like it's spelled.
Why are you looking at me and saying that?
I'm sure you're one of the many that have butchered my last name. I feel like it's the easiest last name ever, but I get everything from LaBush to Labosh, and it's L-U, Lou. I could see Labash, but it's Lubash. And I'm going to go on the topic of my last name for about another 15 minutes here, so sit back and relax. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I consider myself an entertainer and not like a stripper or anything like that. I like to create and entertain. I aside from now doing this podcast with you, I write and direct movies, comedy, horror movies. I also help. I founded and I co-own and run a professional wrestling promotion here in town that's going to be starting up August 10th called Now This Is Wrestling.
Let's put a pin in that one. I kind of want to return to that.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, so I just keep that in mind. And then, I used to do with Michael, we used to run a group called Glam Gore Girls. It was a modeling group where we combined glamour and beauty with blood and gore. We did live action comics. We traveled around the United States to different conventions and stuff like that. And I also, my full-time job is I consider myself the original Halloween expert. I manage a Halloween shop, a year-round Halloween shop. In addition to that, I help out with a haunted house here in town. And I also help design and run escape rooms here in town, too. So that's me in a nutshell. What about you?
Like, have a full plate all year round. Every time I try to hang out with this dude, it's like, it just doesn't work. We always have like conflict.
It doesn't. Well, your daughter doesn't like me too much, apparently. So she hates me. Me and Connie Chung.
Recently, I went to go tuck in my daughter, and she's like, and she hasn't seen Jeremy in like months, and she's like, "No, Jeremy." I'm like,
It just makes me feel weird that something triggered her to hate me and dislike me when she's going to bed in bed. Like, I've never been in her bedroom, never around her at nighttime. So yeah, it could be.
Anyways, I'm Justin Milani. I am also an entertainer. I've always considered myself more of an actor. Pretty much have an artist mind. I like draw, create, anything. This is something that I'm trying to start. I've been in the talks maybe a year, 2 years probably. Something that's kind of been on my mind maybe at least 3 to 4 years or so. But to eventually just start a podcast, talk about some topics, expand on things, maybe get the community involved. He's had the idea of like making it more local film and stuff, which again, nothing's set in stone. This is pretty much a dry run. Yeah, more so, I am a husband, a father, a mail delivery man,
A cam guy.
a cam guy, and in certain circles, I guess they know me as that. There's not really too much to go into a lot of that.
You're a husband? I didn't know this.
Sometimes.
Oh. I think you know a guy. No, you just had a second child not too long ago, didn't you?
This is correct.
Do you still have it?
I do.
Okay.
I do still have it.
I don't know if you got rid of it.
No.
You're in a house full of women.
This is also correct. A bunch of little Amazons. Well, one of them's a little bit of baby. But yeah, she's probably watching. Is she watching right now? She's probably watching right now.
Just saying no, Jeremy.
Get home, anyways. Yeah, I also do a little bit of fight choreography and a bit of the films, stuntman type of thing, which I guess overall it's a pretty fun little gig.
How did we meet, by the way? I'm trying to remember. Was it my short film Reflections?
I responded to a Craigslist ad.
Uh-oh.
When you say something like that, it usually doesn't start off into a happy story.
Usually, no.
Craigslist is pretty much the back alley of the internet.
At the time, it wasn't, though, because, I mean, this was like 10 plus years ago. I think at the time, Craigslist was pretty new and clean at the time. It wasn't like a used prostitute or anything like that. You didn't feel dirty when you went on it to look for something. You actually went on it to look for stuff that you needed, and the people that were selling or offering whatever it was, they were actually legit people. Now you can
misconnections on Craigslist.
You were the guy at Dairy Queen in front of me getting the Oreo Blizzard.
Right. No, I was part of a modeling acting talent agency, which raised some eyebrows with a few of the main. I'm not going to get into too much detail. If you guys are familiar with that, you might know the details, but it's not for me to. I probably should eventually.
You raised some eyebrows?
Yeah.
You're with people that raised eyebrows? I don't.
The company went under, so I was pretty much scouting my own work. I did a few commercial work, etc. Some short.
Hey, aren't you that Jensen Tire Tech guy?
Jensen Tire guy for the long, healthy life of your car.
You don't work there.
And they won't even give me a discount. Every time I come in there, I'm like, dude, that is me on your commercial right there. And they're like,
that's BS.
Doesn't matter. I can't cut prices.
I'm like, I need a.
Who? Do they really talk like that?
That's-
At every Jensen Tire?
Anyways. No. So yeah, I responded to a Craigslist ad. He had a short film called Reflections. I think he calls it Reflections because he says it was horrible.
The concept was good.
The concept was good.
Let's just say the concept was good, but it was like sixth graders doing taking their mom's video camera and filming a school project film. It was terribly shot, but it was my second overall attempt to make a movie.
When I got on the film, like I was 21, 22 or so. I got on the set and stuff. I'm like, oh, this is pretty legit. He's setting up lights. He's got some equipment. There's some people behind him managing some cords and stuff.
Little did you know.
And when I saw the actual picture, I was like, it's a little grainy, maybe. The lighting wasn't as good as it could have been, but
that's what a standard definition camera will get you back then. I thought I was the shit back then. Like, that was when I was really getting into filmmaking, and I thought, oh, this is easy. You just point a camera and do what you got to do. I didn't know anything about multi-angles and different things like that, like I do now. So, but you got to learn somewhere.
I think that is going about it the more organic way kind of sets a path for you to create yourself, I guess. When there's I've worked with a bunch of directors, actors, or whatever who try to go by like the book or something, and they're like, "Oh, you can't do that. You got to do it this way because it's not going to get like the continuity." I'm like, "Well, if you're being creative, you can do something like that." And that's something that you had starting off the back, like, yeah, let's just do it that, like get the picture and stuff like that. So
The one thing I remember about shooting Reflections is Lee, the guy whose house we filmed at. It was a bloody movie. Like there was some blood in it, and of course the room we're filming in is pure white carpet, white bed sheets, white walls. And I just told him, like, you know, we're using blood. And he's like, yeah, that's fine. So we put like tarp down on the carpet. We put tarp down on the bed sheets. The only thing we didn't have tarp down on was the walls because we weren't having blood spray anywhere. Well, there was one little spot on the bed, I remember, that didn't have tarp on it. And that happened to be where all the blood went. And I was like, son of a bitch. And then I remember I went to the dollar store and I bought a bunch of little rug carpet things, and I put them down this hallway because I didn't want people to track blood anywhere. Well, somebody stepped in blood and stepped off of one of the carpet, and there was a nice little, not like a full bloody footprint, but there was a nice heel print with blood. And I just remember I left one of the rugs there over it because I didn't want to tell them that we got blood on this carpet. So I left the rug there and we left, and I never heard boo from him.
yeah, I don't think I realized that because I remember when we were leaving, you're like, "All right, bye, bye."
Yeah, I was like,
And I'm
let's
like,
get
"Oh,
out.
Are you gonna like shake the dude's hand or something like that?" Because when I got to his place, I don't think I came by myself.
Usually I do too because I don't have a girlfriend. Had to put it in there.
This guy, this fucking guy. But yeah, so I got there and he was the Lee guy, the guy who owns the house. He was talking about like, so you're not gonna get. This is a horrible Lee impression. Lee was a pretty cool guy. I liked the guy.
He was.
He was a cool guy.
I saw him about a couple weeks ago.
But he was talking about like, well, he didn't want his house or his area to be jeopardized or violated. That's probably the wrong word to use.
Nope.
Another thing along with the blood, I remember, who was it? Was it John who walked in front? So I had this knife, and it wasn't like
Rodney.
it wasn't inside of the handle, and I had to do like this motion. I didn't have to. I just tried to part of the character, whatever. And when I flung it outwards, the blade flew off into the wall right in front of one of the.
It was Rodney. Yeah.
And he's like, "Ooh."
I remember that because the handle and the blade were separate. There was just a magnet that would hold them together, and that
found out.
What I would like to do, and this is actually kind of a cool thing, especially being in the film industry now for over 10 years and having gotten a lot better at my craft. I still have a lot to learn, but making connections with people like Logan, who's an amazing cinematographer and editor, who gets who gets artsy shots and stuff like that. I think it would be fun to show him Reflections and for us to remake that film.
But you haven't seen it?
Oh, no.
He hasn't seen it.
I think the only people that ever saw that would be the cast members and myself.
Oh, shit. The chick who was in that, she still has a movie I lent her. Not that it matters anymore.
If she's watching,
There's
give
this
it
awesome
back.
movie called Replicate.
But I think that would be fun to remake that movie and show the original from 2007 or so. I think it was 2007 when we made that.
08, 09.
2007, 2008 or whatever.
Yeah.
Because 2009 was when we shot the Shadow's Edge movie. But yeah, no, that'd be fun to redo that one. But yeah, that is how we met, was Reflections. Still, it's a very, I like the concept of it. Like, I'm not going to knock what I wrote in terms of the storyline. I'll knock how it was shot and the production value of it.
Well, most recently, we also put out another film that you wrote and directed, with much of the present company. Well, all the present company was a part of it.
Yes.
It's actually probably one of the funnest projects I was on. Let's discuss that.
I feel like a talk show host right now as you're
I don't
plugging
have
the
the line
movie.
to put the thing on. Already off to a bad start. Is that facing?
Can you see it, Mike?
Get in on that all nice and tight.
So
all
yeah.
nice and deep black.
So yeah, this is the latest movie that I wrote and directed called Unemployed, which is a comedy movie, and it's a feature-length film, which means it's more than 60 minutes. This is about 2 hours long, which I know is long for a comedy, but there was just so much good stuff in it that we couldn't cut anything. But yeah, this was 2 years of our life pretty much, from casting it and filming it and editing it to the premiere, which was this last fall. But yeah, it's this is kind of my first attempt at comedy. I mean, I've done some mainly horror movies, but I did like a horror comedy short film, which is actually going to be released. I don't know if I can announce where it's going to be released, but it's going to be a segment on this TV thing or movie thing. But this is actually something I wrote for, it's writing in my head for a long time, this movie. It was actually supposed to start out a sketch comedy thing that we were doing, but I don't know. So what's your take on the whole thing? You've been in every single one of my films that I've done.
Not because I wanted to.
Because you had to.
Oh, I actually loved it. I mean, you wrote the characters for loosely along about some of your closer friends, I should say. Some of them were right on, perfect, etc. Probably one of the funniest things I've ever seen. And I don't know if it's bias of me. I mean, I was part of the editing process and watching videos over and over, like little clips and stuff, and it still makes me laugh. You know, my stomach hurts, my face is like feels numb and stuff after laughing for a while. I just loved everything about it. It could have been, there's a few continuity issues, color correction, that if we had like the right funds for it, it would have been just pristine.
Well, I just felt like this whole movie, from writing to pre-production to filming and even editing, just went smoothly. My one gripe that I would say, and I mean, that's, you know, I obviously I'm to blame because my name's on it, but it's just, and I mean, there's still some people that probably don't have their copy, but the whole production, or what's the word? I'm
Pre-planning all that?
No, like making copies of the DVDs and stuff like that. The distribution part of it. That's the one thing that I kind of am embarrassed about, just because we spent so long making this movie, and then this past fall of 2018 was when we had the two premieres, which I will say, kind of stepping back to something you said, you know, being biased and whatnot, like you, Logan, and I were cracking up when we were editing this film, and we thought I thought it was just because it was our film and stuff like that. But to put it to the test was the two premieres, and I mean, there were two sold out premieres, and I cannot tell you, I've never really been in a theater where it was like a constant uproar of laughter. I mean, people were laughing so hard. I mean, I remember looking over at some people that were crying, they were laughing so hard, so that felt good. But you know, we thought that we would take pre-orders for the DVDs at these premieres, and there was quite a few people that bought and paid for it. And I purchased, with ticket sales, I purchased this machine that burns multiple discs at a time, because I figured that would help, you know, speed up the process. And I mean, the machine itself took forever to get here. Then, you know, the cover here, I'm not happy with. It's kind of like stretched a little bit on the front. Like the back part of it I like a lot, but the front's a little kind of grainy. And we had plans to actually get laser etching on the disc.
I think it kind of adds to the effect that it's not, because I mean, like, the title is Unemployed, but it's like, oh, well, here's this.
It looks like they made it themselves, the characters.
There you go.
But it was just like, you know, that's the one thing. And I mean, it took, I had told people it would probably be like November, December. And I mean, here it was like March, April, and we finally got the first batch out. And I mean, there's still some people that, You know, I've reached out to some people that prepaid. I haven't heard back from them, and there's others that I probably haven't reached out to because we lost one of the lists.
You probably shouldn't say that because there's going to be a lot of people like, my name was on that list. I
Hey,
pre-ordered.
at this point. I think I will know, but you know, if somebody's listening that didn't get their copy that prepaid, please let me know because you were probably on that list that got lost. But yeah, so that was the only thing about this film that I'm not happy about, and I know that it'd be different next time around. Like before we even have a premiere for the next movie, we will have copies burned to sell at the premiere.
Yeah. So it looks like we got about 7 people in here, 7 or 8 or 9 or so. Boom. You guys want to see a trailer? Hit the like button. Yes. All right, let's roll it.
So okay,
We ready? Boom.
Adjusted your mic levels a little bit, Justin. They're saying you're a little bit quiet.
Right.
But it should be good now. Try to speak a little bit closer to it.
Deep
All right,
Boom.
Void's coming down, and you're live in 3, 2.
that was our porno.
It gets a little raunchy, you know. There's
a little. Are you kidding me?
So when I tell people about it, I always have to follow up with a sorry. You know? Like, sorry, you're probably not. It's a dirty one. You might like it.
It is raunchy. You know, I've said before, my inspiration when writing it was like 90s comedy films like Dumb and Dumber, Something About Mary. Back when people weren't so easily offended with things. Like, I mean, if you're offended, this Unemployed is definitely not for you. I mean, it's not like racist or anything like that.
Yeah, it is.
It's just it's just scenarios that I put you guys through, which for those of you that have always wanted to see what Justin's bare ass looks like, watch this movie because you get to see his bare ass.
I don't think there's a lot of this stuff that was actually written on the spot. I mean, like we had an outline pretty much to follow, some basic lines, but we tweaked them to match ourselves. Like, you know, the character of John, immaculate. Like he was on point with everything.
The character of John was written for John Marshall, which I think he's watching. Yes, I embellished a little bit. Like, you know, John's character is a compulsive masturbator. You know, I lived with John for a short while, and I mean, I have a masturbation story about him, which I won't tell.
That's probably one of my favorite stories about him.
Well, John,
Like-
John won't care. He'll tell you. He'll be like, tell him. But
If we keep these going, I think we'll eventually, maybe we can get John in to have you guys go back and forth on how this happened.
we can play darts.
Nice.
Only John gets that.
I don't get it.
Yeah, no, that was the thing. Like, I hope that you, and I've never really asked you this. Like, I didn't want to put you guys, the 4 main characters, into situations that you weren't comfortable with.
I was very uncomfortable.
I always felt that I had it out there that if I asked you to do something, I would do it too. And I figured that if you weren't comfortable with something, you'd speak up and let me know, and we would change it. But I mean, none of you guys seem to really care. Like, that's why, you know, Eric Green, who plays the lead character of Paul Nissen, that guy is a trooper. I couldn't have asked for a better lead character than him. I mean, he was putting some serious elements there. And the thing that people don't realize too when it comes to filmmaking is audio, to me, is like the absolute worst thing about making a film, because you hear traffic, you hear airplanes, you hear sirens, you hear people mowing the grass and stuff like that. So when you're filming, you have to try to get rid of as many elements as possible that cause sound. Like, we had to unplug refrigerator,
like natural elements and stuff like that.
we had to turn the AC off, all that stuff. So you're filming and it's hot outside. It was like middle of summer when we were filming the majority of this film, and in that apartment, it was hot as hell.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
We were sweating. The place smelled like thousands of cats pissed in there.
I don't know if you can tell if I was sweating or if I was just oily all the time.
I just assumed it
But
was oil.
I try to make that part of my character to always be oily because that's what I do.
Well, you do that in real life too.
That's coconut oil, baby. I get out of the shower, put that coconut oil on. I'm actually 45 years old.
I knew this.
Anyways,
I'm 62.
But yeah, do we have the full trailer?
I don't, but we could play the Justin trailer one more time because the audio was muted on it.
Oh,
We can just play that one more time just to kind of.
Again, this is our first podcast, so
damn it, Logan. We should
we'll
have
play it
these
again.
things ironed out.
who
So you get to see
brought
it
this guy
for
on?
a second time. You get to hear Justin having sex.
And I'm sorry.
And let's go.
Yay.
I see you over there, squirming in your seat, getting all hot and bothered. Sort of a celebrity. You guys are gonna see something you've never seen before. Mwah.
Unemployed, a Jeremy Lubash film.
That clip was brought to you by Crystal's laptop. I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Our letter of the day is E.
So yeah, that was this is something I'm really proud about. This movie right here.
Where can people get this?
Right now they can message myself. If they
Jeremy
want a copy.
Lubash.
We are selling them for $10,
Lubbish.
and that's what the heck? You just came unplugged and landed on me.
We're not wearing pants, so
You get a DVD for $10. It's a 2-hour long movie, like I said, so you're getting your money's worth. So if you're interested in it, message me. We're currently out of the batch that I have. We've been doing them in batches, so we will get more made. And now I've reached out to as many people as I possibly can that pre-ordered. So if they haven't gotten back to me at this point, I think it's fair that I can open it up to the general public to get copies now. I wanted to wait to do that until everybody that prepaid got it. So again, if you ordered one, please let me know if you haven't heard from me, because that means you were on that list that got lost. And I don't know how it got lost or where it got lost, but it got lost from the lobby of the movie theater that it was at.
you
to
told
my
me it
vehicle.
was all Logan. You blamed Logan.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
just playing.
So if you're mad, you can send your hate mail to. I'm just kidding. No. So yeah, that's where you can get it.
We do have upcoming news about this movie. We haven't checked it out since the premiere.
Well, that's not. Prairie Lights Film Festival back in October was the last time I actually watched this.
I haven't seen it since the premiere, so
Wow. So I got a month on you. So I would like to watch it again.
we are going to be doing a live stream with a commentary of the movie Unemployed. Unemployed.
Yeah, we're trying to get you, Eric, John, Logan. Unfortunately, Mr. Simmons, Joe, doesn't live here right now. He is no longer with us.
He's in Florida.
He's in another state right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll be fun. It'll kind of be a way to tease people to want to buy a copy of it, because they'll be able to see it and partially hear it, but they're mainly going to hear us talk and tell stories. And trust me, we have a lot of stories to tell from this movie.
Yeah, if I had it my way, we would be pausing a lot of the stuff just to expand on some stuff, but it'll probably irritate a lot of the viewers.
And I'll tell you right now, you will want to watch when we talk about it, because when we do our commentary with it, you can hear the story about how Justin almost became a child sex offender.
Yeah. So I almost had to register. I'll go into that. So the scene where you see my
See, that was trying to leave it out there, a cliffhanger, so people had to tune in.
look
and
at
watch.
there's so many people asking about it.
There's a lot of people watching.
People were like, I don't want to hear about it. So the part where I'm pretty much in just a towel and I have to walk out, there's a scene where everybody is pretty much not on the same level as the main character, the main guy.
It's the falling out.
Some things
portion.
took a turn. So we walk out on him. And when I walk out
Well, you're in a
how I
towel.
came in. You know?
So the argument starts. You just get out of the shower, and that's when the argument starts. So the whole argument, you're with the towel, and that's all you're wearing.
2 towels.
Yes.
Why? Why the second
And
towel?
a tube sock.
Yeah. So, and I have to walk out. We had to move a couch out there right next door. We were having issues with like the sound. There's probably like 9 people who live in that, what, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 1 bedroom apartment. I'm assuming it mirrors the bedroom or the apartment that we were in, which was a 1
Except a
bedroom
lot
apartment.
cleaner.
Yeah, probably, most likely. Even with like 9 people, this person had just him. I think his girlfriend, if it was his girlfriend, came over every now and then. And then I don't know how many animals he had. It just smelled like a lot. He probably only had like 1 or 2.
1 cat and 1 dog.
Really?
Yes.
It just did not smell like that. But moving on. So I had to walk out and my towel dropped, so you could just see the buttocks. It was supposed to catch to like the door or the couch or something like that, and it took a while to figure that out. So when I walked out, John was supposed to be out there with like a blanket just in case something happened. And I guess he was screaming, "Abort, abort, abort," and we couldn't hear him. He was outside the door. Even weird, like the door didn't really have a lock on it. Like everything was broken and busted. It was a perfect room for this movie. But so when I walked out, there was like a 11-year-old girl at the bottom of the balcony, just like 12 steps down. And I'm like, oh, like I ran back into the apartment. I'm butt ass naked. I'm like, she lives with like 11 people, this little innocent Mexican girl. I probably just,
She now just likes women.
Probably.
She no longer likes men.
That'll do it to you.
Yeah, that was the one time I kind of was scared with the whole filming process, because I was like, the police are going to show up and wonder what the hell we're doing. But so yeah, that was a good. It was well worth all the time and effort put into this movie. I am very proud of this movie. Proud of everybody that was on board with it. So, do you have any upcoming projects?
I actually just had to drop out of one. Right now, this podcast is something I'm trying to make a continuing thing. I don't have a schedule format worked out. I'm thinking like every 2 weeks or so, give enough time to do life and build some material. Because I don't want to just sit behind a mic like, it's not entertaining. It's bad media, bad TV.
So you dropped out of a movie project.
Yeah, it was a scheduling issue. I had a family thing. The Chicas family went down to Virginia. It was fun down there. It was fun.
I've heard that about Virginia.
Yeah, there's crabs. I didn't come back with crabs, but there was crabs down there.
Virginia has crabs.
Yeah.
She should get that checked out.
But anyway,
so
do you want to? We should do some body shots off of each other.
Again? Oh man.
We don't really drink, so it would just be like.
I see the segue you did there. That was a nice segue. Yeah. So
that's a no, I'm assuming.
No.
Oh, cool.
That's one thing about me that some people know, some don't. I live a straight edge lifestyle, which is, I think, rare these days. And for those of you that don't know what straight edge is,
who says it?
Yeah, that means that I don't drink alcohol, I don't smoke tobacco products, and I don't use drugs.
Why?
It's just a choice I made. At least you didn't do the typical, that's so good for you, I'm so proud of you.
Or yeah. You don't know how to have fun.
I don't know how to have fun. We're done talking about this. We can put that down. Boom. Yeah, I apparently...
Dirty movie. Go away. Let's put it back in the fridge.
Yeah, just because I don't drink, I apparently don't know how to have fun. I've heard that a lot in the past.
Isn't that kind of like a... Because I'm not a drinker or a smoker. I mean, I had my weed days back in like high school, peer pressure type of stuff, but I sound so like innocent now.
I don't know. It's just I never had any of those days. Believe it or not, I didn't have my first alcoholic beverage till my 21st birthday. And even then, it's like I had one beer. I don't even think I finished the thing. From the time I was 21 till about 22 or so, I did drink. I never got drunk. I think the most I ever drank was at John Marshall's 21st birthday party, and
He's like, what a puss.
Yeah. Well, no, actually, I had quite a bit to drink, and I didn't feel any effects from it, which I thought was kind of weird because I felt like I would be a lightweight. But no, I just soon after I just stopped. I don't like the taste of alcohol. You know, I feel like I can have fun without that stuff.
Are you gonna cry? Come here.
No, and that's the other thing is like people assume that because I don't do that stuff that I can't be around it. So as you can imagine, I don't get invited to a lot of places, just because they feel guilty drinking in front of me, which they shouldn't. I'm okay. The only time I have an issue with it is when it's the answer to everything. Like, hey, we're going to go out to a bar and we're going to drink until we piss ourselves and fall face first on the ground stuff. When people get like sloppy drunk, that's when I don't like being around that.
Why? Just be the designated driver and, just
because that's annoying.
Free
I've
money.
done that a lot
free
of
money.
times. Like as much like I will always be the designated driver if it means saving a friend's life and making sure they don't do something stupid. I mean, I've even given strangers ride homes that were drunk and stuff, but it's annoying because they're in your car, they're like sticking their head out the window, like yelling at people. And I had a girl that was sticking her ass out the window, pulling her pants down and telling cars next to us to like kiss her ass. And I'm like, stop it, because
It's like, if I must.
I'm gonna be the one that's gonna get beat up if like you say that to the wrong person and whatnot. But yeah, it's just
Your reactions are going to be on point. You can duck, dodge, dive.
not this guy.
It's like, oh, I'm back.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, it's being straight edge has been good, but I think it's also caused a lot of difficulties in my life. I like I said, I get invited out every now and then, but not
As far
very
as like
often.
a professional standpoint with alcohol, I guess. I mean, I guess I've also been on a few sets with somebody like just showing up drunk or.
Oh yeah. I don't like that. I don't like having people in any project I'm doing showing up drunk or high or anything like that. There's been a few times when Michael and I were doing glam gore and stuff like that some of the models showed up a little.
It's just a
little tipsy. I don't mind if people have a drink to calm the nerves, but when it's affecting everything you're doing, that's when it's just like, I like to create art, and that's interfering with the creative aspect of it.
You just take a bunch of sloppy pictures and send it to them, and like that's what you did.
Well, then they get the red blushy cheeks and stuff like that, and then people like Michael have to spend the time doing extra work editing out the blush cheeks and stuff like that, and it's just like, I don't know. I just don't agree with that.
There's a lot of people probably watching like, boo.
Yeah, I know. I'm the bad guy. I mean, I haven't even got on the subject of
Jorge, you can have the Patron for both of us. There you go.
Jorge, stop it.
We changed the set design here because there was a bunch of alcohol.
Yeah,
we've been talking about alcohol for a bunch of we're two dudes who doesn't really drink. But
people do what they got to do. Like I said, to each their own. That is a very simplistic motto, and it's something I live by. As long as you're not pushing your stuff on me, I don't push my stuff on you.
So what is your poison?
My poison?
Everybody has their poison.
Ooh, that's a good one. I don't know. Like something bad that I do, or
are you a gambler? Are you?
No, I'm not.
You don't spend money. Are you a stalker? Do you have
the one? That's it.
It's the beard.
I honestly don't know what that would be.
So you're the perfect specimen, huh? Is that what you're saying?
Some would say it's that I gripe about being single a lot.
You do. I noticed that.
Hey,
should we go there?
I don't know.
Should we go there? We're gonna.
Michael is shaking his head. Yes. Logan's kind of like, yes.
So I've noticed throughout. I'm not going to say just this last year or whatever.
Oh, it's been
I know you were
that.
trying for a project at one point, to write a story.
I was, and that was a true story. Some people think I was lying about that.
I believe you about that, and because you lied to me about everything.
I'm only 15.
So you post a lot of status updates about, being single and stuff. And I know you're not into people setting you up or going on like blind dates or something like that. Like you want it to happen like maybe organically or something. Like you don't want to meet somebody in a bookstore or in a library.
Not the bookstores I go to.
Oh, I see.
Well, maybe I would. Yeah, I've always felt like when people set people up, that you're forcing two people to try to find something that they have in common. I don't think that's a natural thing. Like you're both been told you're being set up to go on this date because you're single, they're single, so we're gonna put you together because you're both having a hard time finding somebody. That's not natural to me, and I just feel like. In my mind, that's what the whole thing is for. The whole reason you're going out is to try to like each other so that...
You don't like to force it?
I don't like to force it. And the other problem is, and this is something that I think people will, when I initially say this, are going to get the wrong impression. But there has to be a physical attraction. Like, I have to physically be attracted to somebody in order to want to get to know them or pursue them. And usually when people, and it's usually girls that say this, like, oh my God, my friend is perfect for you. She's so beautiful. You're going to love her, blah, 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 blah. And then they show me a picture of her and I'm just like, what?
It's so shallow. Man.
Like, it's not
so
being shallow. Like, it's just...
I understand the concept.
It's the thing of like everybody, it's easy for people that have somebody to say that's shallow, because usually the people that are saying that are like an attractive girl who's got her Abercrombie washboard abs stomach boyfriend and stuff like that. It's
like, my name is Drake.
Yeah, Drake. Yeah, there's a lot of Drakes out there. They always have a hot girlfriend, but it's just like they act like I'm shallow for saying that, but it's like, look at the person you're with. You guys are like the perfect couple. Like, would you give somebody else that did not look like him a chance?
You're like,
No.
fuck you, Kodak moment all day. Like, this is messed up.
And this is something I've always used because, I mean, going on 17 years now that I've been single. So, again, and I have the
raging
right
boner?
yeah, I have the right to be upset. I mean, 17 years is a long time to be single and be rejected all the time. But
do you want to lie down on the couch?
yes, please. But I don't even know where I was going with that. You had me lose my train of thought there with that comment. But
So shallowness, the attraction, the
so they're like, lower your standards. Nobody knows what my standards are.
honestly, I don't think your standards are that high. And I see where, like, there's certain traits or qualities of, you're not looking for the bar hopper. You're not looking for, and that seems to be what like a lot of people want to try to hook you up with. It's like,
No, a lot of people try to hook me up with their friend that stays home all the time and reads books and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, I'm not a party person. But I also, like, I want to do stuff every now and then. Like, I don't want to stay home and read a book. I don't. As creative as I am with things, like, I don't like reading, to be honest with you. Like, that's like the last thing on my list that I want to do. But I don't know. Yeah, it's just a little annoying, seeing everybody else around you, for the most part, find somebody and you can't. And it's like, and to be led, like, I literally could write a book about the rejection that I get. I mean, there's one of a few things that always happen. You meet a girl, you're talking, you connect with her. I get excited, like, oh my God, this is actually gonna happen. She leads me on to make me think that more is going to happen, like a relationship. And then when I bite the hook, whatever it is, like I take the bait, then it's always just like, whoa, I just want to be friends. And it's just like, well, then
give me my money back.
Why were you sending me pictures of, like, romantic pictures of, like, couples kissing and saying, I wish this was you and I? And now you're telling me like friends don't like. I don't send pictures like that to you anymore.
I think you need to put those names out because I can't. I don't understand.
But
Put them on blast.
It's just. Do we have another 3 hours? Because
The thing is, I know when I meet that right person, I'm going to have the courage and honest, like to walk up to her, look her straight in the eye and say, I'm sorry, I'm married.
Your wife's watching, isn't she?
She is. Oh, hey.
And that's, I don't know. People always say be patient. That's the thing. When people try to throw out advice to me at this stage in the game, going on 17 years, I get very rude with people because I've tried everything. And the one thing I hate the most is when they're like, be patient. It's going to happen when you least expect it. Well, fuck. It's been 17 years. I think I've been least expecting it for a long time now. I was like, it should have happened by now. So, yeah. This is what I will say to, I guess, maybe wrap up this subject. A lot of people don't like that I post about being single. Well, I'm just letting people know it's going to keep happening until I find somebody, because as much as happy couples have the right to post statuses about how happy they are and pictures with how happy they are, and there is nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong. As they have the right to do that, I have the right to gripe about being single. And I know somebody's going to say, well, then you're never going to get somebody because all they're going to see is you griping about being single. I don't use Facebook as a dating app. The people that I meet in person know nothing about my statuses. I'm very confident with them. I don't bring up the fact that I've been single for going on 17 years. So they don't know.
I think chicks do Facebook stalk once they meet you.
No, they don't.
My wife Facebook stalked me.
They can't see everything on mine.
Gotcha.
You have to be a friend of mine in order to see everything.
Do you know Jeremy? Jeremy Labash?
Well, if that's the case, then
Lubash? Lubash?
She doesn't know how to pronounce my last name. It's not going to happen.
Boom. Oh. I get that a lot too. People are like, what is it, Melanie?
I always thought it was Milani.
It's Milani, and you have to say it with your hands like this. It's just a Milani.
Do what's his name?
My De Niro?
De Niro.
Can we get a close-up? Can we get a close-up right here?
You seriously turn into him when you do this.
My De Niro. Here it goes. Hey, what do you mean? What do you mean, huh?
You seriously turn into a different person when you do this. It's crazy. Logan is like Logan's like peeing his pants back there. It's crazy how much you turn into this guy. You're watching the playback.
I can't see myself when I do it because my eyes are all squinty. But yeah,
neither can Robert De Niro.
That's gonna be he's gonna write in a De Niro character for something.
Which,
so, anyways, you can't find that match. Let's talk about matches. August 19th. Segue.
Oh man,
what's going on? So I've always been kind of a wrestling fan, but I fell off like once I graduated high school. And this dude, he's started his own company locally here. Like you yourself are co.
So, I worked for first of all, I've watched professional wrestling my whole life.
Favorite wrestler?
Shawn Michaels.
Why? I'm just playing.
Everything about that guy was amazing back in the day. He still could put on an amazing match. But I was asked by a friend to come to this was about 8 years ago, 7-8 years ago, he wrestled for a company in town, and he asked me to come to a show and watch it because he was interested in having me do commentary for him. So I went there, watched the show. I was like, oh, this is cool. And I thought I was going to do commentary, but the next thing you know, I was doing video for it. Well, I got Mike involved with it. He was holding a camera on a monopod. And then got a couple. We added a few cameras, started editing it together, multicam and stuff like that, making it look legit. Well, then Logan found this wrestling promotion. He was sent to me. I met with Logan, brought him on. The rest was history. Like we're an amazing team. We both get it and stuff like that. Well, I left this professional wrestling promotion because I just creative differences. There was things going on there that I didn't enjoy how some things were going on there. I'm not going to get into details. But I left and I started a promotion 3 years ago called Now This Is Wrestling. We had one show, and it was a great show. We had people like Bobby Lashley was on it, Vince Russo, Arya Davari, great local talent, Devin Thomas, Red Wing, Regal Twins, stuff like that. People like that. It was a great show. But my partner at the time kind of wasn't telling the truth about certain things, promised me certain things like money-wise, and never didn't come in. So
Somebody had a hidden agenda?
Yes.
Is that what it is?
So I thought it was the best interest. We had a second show lined up. It was best interest for us, the company, everybody, if I canceled the second show, just because with how the first show went and what he was telling me and stuff like that, if we had had a second show, we would have been so far in the hole money-wise, it wouldn't have been funny. So stop that. I went back to the other wrestling promotion, and it wasn't like, because I don't think Now failed. I think I did the right thing. I went back there because my concern is with the fans and stuff like that, and everybody that's involved. Like, it should be, I'm always about, my biggest thing in life is entertaining people. And I felt at the time that wrestling was in a very low place. I think attendance was low all around. People just weren't into it anymore. And I just thought that, I think it'd be kind of cool to do an invasion where Now invaded this other promotion. And we did that for a year. I was happy because I got to work with Logan again. Him and I were writing pretty much this whole storyline for a year. And believe it or not, everybody was getting back into it. Wrestlers, fans. It was exciting. But again, creative differences, things didn't change. And there's nothing wrong with that. This person has their way of doing things. There are certain ways I want to do things, certain ways that Logan wanted to do things, and it was just best if we kind of went our separate ways. There was an opportunity where we were going to try to get together and try to hash things out, but that never happened, and that wasn't on our end. So that's when we decided that we were going to bring Now back, and Logan was on board this time. And, we've mentioned that. Was that back in November, December 2018 that we made the official announcement we were bringing it back in January. And, our first show is slotted for August 10th, which is coming up in about less than 5 weeks now.
If anybody's interested, where can they get tickets?
Well, if you go to, if you're on Facebook, which obviously you are if you're watching this right now, if you go to Now This Is Wrestling Facebook page, that's where you can get everything Now related. I believe Ticket Leap is the company that we are selling our tickets through. There are plenty of links on the Now Facebook page that'll take you to Ticket Leap. One thing that we decided to do that nobody else has done in this area, and it worked out great, was we decided to have reserved seating. Because that's one thing that people, like, we listened to the fans when we were doing this, and that's the one thing. You need to listen to your fans because they are who you're putting the show on for. They're the ones that are going to buy tickets to your show, so you obviously want to give them what they want. And, when it's a free-for-all where you buy tickets and it's first come, first serve, that's when you have issues, and people don't like that. So we have reserved seating. So every row is labeled, every seat is numbered, so you get to pick the seat that you want. And that's going to give you less stress on your end to like, well, I got to show up like
on your rear end.
Yeah, I got to show up 4 hours in advance, 5 hours in advance if I want to get a good seat. No, this is the peace of mind that you'll get what you bought is what you're getting. And I will tell you this, our front row sold out in less than a few hours. We put tickets on sale. This was about a couple months ago, and they sold out like that. Our second row is very close to selling out. I mean, we've sold quite a few tickets, so the sooner you get the tickets, the better. This show on August 10th is going to have Joey Ryan, who is well known in the independent circuit for his dick, believe it or not.
Nice. I heard he's got a dick.
He does. He's
I saint it.
he did a spot several years ago where a guy grabbed onto his dick, his genitals, and he like flipped him. And
How does he do that?
It's amazing, and you can see it in person on August 10th when he goes up against Donnie Peppercricket.
He's gonna beat some dude with his junk.
It's a possibility. I will tell you that. But yeah, Joey Ryan will be there. There's a women's match, the Women of Now match that we're excited about. Kimberly versus Jessica Havoc. They're both tremendous female athletes, and that's the one thing that I have always strived to do, and we're going to do it now, and that's build a women's division here.
That'd be cool.
The Midwest really doesn't have a.
What if you are a man but identify as a woman? Because I can kick a lot of.
It could happen.
I probably can.
We're haven't crossed that path with any of these upcoming shows, so it could happen.
See, with wrestling, like there's something. I mean, I used to always get like the flack. It's like, oh, you know that stuff is fake. You know that's fake. It's like, yeah, I mean, like the storylines, yeah, but these guys are putting their bodies through actual stuff. Like I liked a lot of that technical, like the luchas, like Jeff Hardy, Rey Mysterio type stuff. But of course it's fake. So is The Matrix, but you enjoy things like The Matrix.
Let me stop you there. Fake is a bad word to say when it comes to professional wrestling.
Storyline. But
the best words I could say is choreographed and scripted.
Yeah.
If you tell a wrestler, it's
like these
fake,
dudes are.
They're going to.
There's wrestlers who have put their bodies on the line. They've bled. Some of them have actually died in the ring.
Mm-hmm. It's very dangerous. Like
right.
There's a little bit of padding, but
not much.
Underneath the padding,
it's like falling on grass.
Wood and there's a metal frame. It hurts.
Right.
I mean, I'm not a wrestler. That's not what I do in professional wrestling, but I have taken a couple bumps in the ring for storylines.
You got a boo-boo.
It hurts.
You got a boo-boo.
I bit my tongue really hard. I landed on my ass. And it's not a mattress by any means.
Right. See, I follow a lot of your stuff on social media, and I don't get too engaged with like the wrestling stuff, and it's really hard to tell like if it's real or not, because I know you have like some, with the hidden agenda or some issues with some partners and whatnot, but I don't know what's real and what's not. So it's entertaining. But it's like, wow.
It is, and that's the one thing. Like there's other promotions here in the area, and we all have something different. And that's not a knock on other promotions. They've been around for a while, and I hope they're still around. And we just have different styles. And the one thing I can say about now is that we're about storylines. And it's about awesome athletic matches and stuff too. And we want to try to combine everything with high production value. And I really feel that since January, since we started promoting it, like especially with Logan, he's so talented. People don't realize this. Well, they do realize it, but those that don't know Logan, he's extremely talented and has an eye for this stuff. But people are just saying they're so excited about what we've been doing. And the thing is like we really haven't had our first show back. Like we did on June 2nd in Fremont, we did a benefit show for the flood victims.
I really wanted to make it to that one.
Yeah, and that's going
that one
to
turned out awesome.
Starting on July 11th on our YouTube channel, we're going to have bi-weekly. The show we did in Fremont split into 3 shows.
Do we have something we can show for now? Want to play like a little teaser trailer?
Yeah, we could do that. Well, Logan's looking it up. I'll talk, but he found something. So I guess we're going to go to this.
So that was Now.
That was pictures
trailer.
of Now.
Boom.
It doesn't show anything. We don't really have anything out there just yet. But yeah, I promise people it's going to be. I always tell people if you're not a professional wrestling fan, if you come to a show, you're going to love it. You're going to have a good time.
Like I said, I kind of fell out of it. I still catch like clips and stuff here of like WWE, but a lot of the storylines just fall flat. So, and I've been to one of your shows. Actually, I was part of it. Played like
Participated, yeah.
one
You
of
were
the security guys,
guards.
and man, let me out.
I'm
I kind of wanted to be a little bit more involved in it, but I'm like, I don't know if if I don't put my body on the line that much, but it looks so fun.
And that's just it. Like it does take a toll on your body, and a lot of professional wrestlers don't have a very like long career. Like they're usually retired by the time they're in their 40s because they've put their bodies on the line. But and that's one thing. We're not going to do monthly shows, which is something that others
probably
have done.
Helps the wrestlers,
yeah.
get
Well,
back. Usually,
well-
like doing a marathon takes almost a month just to get back into shape, and sometimes just that 3 to 5 minutes in a ring takes a toll.
So we have our August 10th show. Phase 2 is what it's called. That's going to be a big show. I'd get your tickets for that. We also have an October 5th show and a November 30th show, which are going to be at the Sokol Auditorium. And then we're looking at February 1st will be our next bigger pay-per-view show. Probably be back at the Beardmore Event Center, which is where our August show is. So we have some things planned out here. We're around for the long haul this time around, and I've got a lot of talented men and women that are on board this time, and we'll get you trained so you can be a wrestler. And
It's on like Donkey Kong.
get your wife trained too. But yeah. So I'm thinking we have one more topic, and then we're wrapping things up for this, or
Sure, I guess we can. What are you at? Over an hour? Jeez. I actually only meant to go about 20 minutes, but
I told you, man. When you're like 20 minutes, I'm like bullshit.
We don't want to make them too long, but man,
Podcasts are usually about between like an hour and a half to 2 hours long. The ones I listen to, anyway.
If you guys like what you're watching, I don't know, we will have we do have a YouTube channel. Subscribe to that. Format is going to be so much better. We're going to have a little bit more bars and designs, and I kind of want to make some games and stuff. Do like body shots off each other. We don't want to do that.
Shots. Yeah, no, it'll be fun. Like you had said before, we're gonna try to get some guests and stuff like that. I have guest host or whatever. I know a few people that would be interested. That would be fun to talk to. And yeah, if you have topics or anything like that you want us to talk about, let us know. We'll talk about them on the show. I think we kind of were this one was just kind of introducing ourselves a little bit. We didn't get into too many topics or anything. Like one thing I don't want to do is get political. I don't like talking about politics. It's one thing.
I think if it comes down to it, we are the boundless pod trap.
Yes.
So we're boundless, but we're also trapped.
I-
So you're going to learn some stuff, but you're also going to lose some brain cells. Just a fair warning. We should probably put a disclaimer.
I can't
ahead
afford
of
to lose anymore. But yeah, I think it'll be fun. It's definitely something I've always wanted to do as a podcast. I'm involved in so many things, doing so many things that I didn't want to be the one that took a podcast by the reins or anything like that. So I'm glad you're kind of doing that. I mean, I'll gladly be here to help and talk and do all that stuff. But
Right. If this thing fizzles out and goes the wrong direction, I won't be afraid to take this thing back and put it down. But
sexually,
either or.
can I be there when you do that?
You will be front row. You just have to reserve your ticket. Segway. We need like some sound effects. Segway. Sound effect. I don't know.
We're going to get Michael. We're going to get either a video of him or audio of him doing his world famous yes. Do it for us.
I don't know if anybody heard that, but yeah.
We'll get that. That'll be a good one.
Many plans coming up with this. Like I said, like and subscribe. Follow us on social media. I'm going to get like a Twitter account too, probably set up.
I have a Twitter account. It's like the third time I've set up Twitter, but I think Twitter's stupid. And unless you have like thousands upon thousands upon thousands of followers, it doesn't do you any good. Like I've been on it now for a few months again. I think I have 3 followers, and that's like I'm not just gonna. I follow like 13, 14 people. It's like this is stupid. I'll stick to Facebook. That's what I know. That's where I have the most connections, I guess.
Yeah. We'll put a word out next time we get together, try to film something. It might be in about 2 weeks or so. That'll be the plan. If something happens, we'll keep you guys posted. But thanks for watching. Thanks for following along. Sorry if it was so boring. Like I said, if you got any comments, any tips or tricks, or leave them down below in the comments. That's where the below is.
Thanks to Michael and Logan for
Boom.
running it.
Wrap it up. Do we have an outro? This is probably just going to end. No, we have an outro. Okay, let's roll the outro.
All right.
Amazing outro.
Next
Thanks for
time.
coming.
Hey,
again.
I didn't come yet.
I did twice.